we used three different methods to solve quadratic equation, right? The first one is factoring method. And what is the very first step of solving quadratic equation using factoring method? We rewrite quadratic equation in a standard form. Rewriting means we make 0 in one side, and then next step we factorize the other side. And once you have complete factor, we set each factor equals to 0 and we solve the equation. So that is the factoring method. The second method we had is completing the square method. And in the completing the square method, the very first step is we collect every terms with variable in one side and the constant on the other side. Second step, we make the coefficient of square term equals to 1. In the third step, we take the coefficient of x term divided by 2, square it, and we add that number on both sides of the equation. Next step, we write down the trinomial in the form of square of a binomial. Then the next step, we get rid of square and we solve for x. That is completing the square method. And the last step is using quadratic formula. Okay. Now on your exam, there will be the specific instruction. You will be asked to solve the quadratic equation using factoring method. You have to use factoring method, okay? You can't use quadratic formula unless you are asked to use quadratic formula. So on the first exam, you will have at least 3 equations. First equation, you will be asked to solve using factoring. Second equation, you will be asked to solve quadratic equation using completing the square method. Third question, you will be asked to solve quadratic equation using quadratic formula. Okay, so make sure you read the instruction and you use the method as instructed. Now here, we have the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula is x equals to negative b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So this is the quadratic formula. And in this quadratic formula, we have b square minus 4ac. And this b square minus 4ac, we call it discriminant. Okay. The b square minus 4ac in the quadratic formula is discriminant. And if our discriminant, if the value of b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, what it tells? It tells that we will have 2 distinct real solutions. Okay, even without solving the quadratic equation, from the discriminant, we can tell how many real solutions we can have for a given quadratic equation. Okay, so you find b square minus 4ac. If the value of b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, we always have 2 distinct real solutions. If b square minus 4ac is equals to 0, there will be only one real solution. And if b square minus 4ac is less than 0, there will be no real solution. Okay, so using discriminant, we can tell the type of solution for the given quadratic equation. Now let's do an example. So here we are asked to find the solution of this equation and find the value of discriminant. So we have this quadratic equation. So negative 2t square plus 3t equals to 5. This is the quadratic equation. Now let's find discriminant for this quadratic equation. Okay, finding discriminant means we are finding the value of b square minus 4ac. For that, we need to know what is ABC. Now in order to find the value of ABC, we have to rewrite our quadratic equation in a standard form. So let's make 0 on the right side by subtracting 5 on both sides. So this is negative 2t square plus 3t minus 5 equals to 0. We compare this equation with our standard equation, ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. Now from comparison, what do we have for a? So what is the value of a? Our a is negative 2. Okay, so value of a is negative 2. and a is always coefficient of a square term. Okay, so our t is square, this is the square term and its coefficient is -2, and this is a. In the similar way, what is our b? B is the coefficient of x, or b is the coefficient of a variable with a degree 1. So this variable has a degree 1, its coefficient is 3, and that 3 is b. So our b is 3, and constant is c. Okay, so we have a c constant, and which is -5. So our c is -5. Now let's find discriminant. Finding discriminant means we find the value of b square minus 4ac. You substitute b, a, c. So b is 3 square minus 4 times a, which is -2. Make sure to have parentheses, times c, which is -5. So this is 3 square is 9. Now we multiply -4, -2, -5. -4 times -2, that is +8, times -5, that is -40. So this is -40. Now 9 minus 40, that is -31. So here the discriminant b square minus 4ac is less than 0. -31 is less than 0, right? Now since the discriminant, this is the discriminant, since the value of discriminant is less than 0, what can we say about the solution of this quadratic equation? There is no real solution. Okay, so this equation has no real solution. No real solutions. To have a real solution, the discriminant has to be equals to 0, or it has to be greater than 0. Okay, but if the discriminant is less than 0, if it is negative number, then we do not have a real solution. But it does have a solution. We will call it complex solution. Okay, and we'll talk about complex number in our next section. But here we are trying to find the real solution. Since the discriminant is less than 0, there is no any real solution. Okay, any question on this example? Okay, now let's go to the next one. So here we have the application of quadratic equation. Okay, let's see how we can use quadratic equation in a real life problem. The mobility rate, which is the percentage of people who change residence for the years 2000 to 2016, can be modeled by this equation. Okay, so here we have an equation. The equation is y equals to 0.0072 t square plus 0.0766 t plus 11.318. So we have this equation. What type of equation is this? What is the type of equation? Is it linear or is it quadratic? So what kind of equation is this? Okay, how do you know it's linear? To be linear, the variable has to have the degree equals to 1. Now what is our variable is t, and what is the highest degree? 2, right? So t has a power 2. Okay, if you have a variable with a power 2, then it's always quadratic. Okay, so here we have this quadratic equation. Okay, so this is quadratic equation, and this quadratic equation, it gives what it tells us. It gives the mobility rate. Okay, so this quadratic equation gives us the mobility rate, or it gives the percentage of people who change the residence. With the help of this equation, we can find the percentage of people who change residence. Okay, now here what does t represent? So t is number of years since 2000, and our y, this is the mobility rate. T is the number of years since 2000. Okay, y is the mobility rate, and once we substitute the value of t, this quadratic equation, it gives us the mobility rate. Now the question here is, in what year between 2000 and 2016 the mobility rate is 12%? Now we have two variables, y and t, right? Y is mobility rate, t is number of years since 2000. Now what we are asked to find here, let's read last statement. In what year? Now which variable we are trying to find here? Are we trying to find y or t? Y. Okay, let's read one more time. Our y represents mobility rate. Our y is percentage of people. T is the number of years since 2000. Okay, so we have those two variables. In the last statement, in what year between 2000 and 2016 was the mobility rate 12%? Now what variable we want to find here? Do you all agree it is t? What year? That's the time, right? So we want to find t. Now what is that 12% for us? Which variable is that 12%? Y, right? So you substitute y equals to 12 and find t. Now let's substitute y equals to 12 in the given equation. So we use this equation. So for y we substitute 12%, okay, equals to 0.0072 t square plus 0.0766 t plus 11.318. Okay, any question here? Yes.
You write the 12 as 12 or 0.12. Since it's
Now let's go back. So how they define y? So y is the mobility rate. It is the percentage of people. It's not the decimal, okay? So we have the 12%. So y is in percentage. So for y, you replace 12. Okay? If your y is in decimal, then you're going to write 0.12. But our y is in percentage. Okay? Now, what is the equation? This is a quadratic equation. We are trying to solve for y. Now, we are trying to solve for t. Can you solve this equation for t? Now, we have three methods: factoring, completing the square method, using quadratic formula. Now, you have all these three options. You can pick any one method. Now, which method do you want to use for this here? Do you want to use a factoring, completing the square method, or a quadratic formula? You have all those three options. We always go for the easy, right? And the easy one is, for this case, now since factoring will be not easy, completing a square, that is already not easy, right? So let's go ahead and use quadratic formula. Now to use quadratic formula, what is the first step? We rewrite our quadratic equation in a standard form. Now, how do we rewrite this equation in a standard form? We make 0 in one side. So what side you want to make 0? Left side or right side? It's easier to make left side 0, right? So let's subtract 12 on both sides. Okay, so this is our first step. Now this is 0. So we have 0 equals to 0.0072 t square plus 0.0766 t. Okay, now this is negative. I need your help here. Can you find the difference of 11.318 and 12? Okay, negative 0. Did you say 662? 82. Oh, 82. Okay, 6682. No?
0682.
Oh, 0682. Okay, 0682. Or does anyone have something different than this? Okay, now we want to find what is AVC, right? To use quadratic formula, we should know what is AVC. What is our A? A is coefficient of a square term. And what is that coefficient of a square term? This is the square here. So this number is A. So our A is 0.0072. So this is our A. Now we find B. B is coefficient of a variable with a power 1. So we have here variable t, its power is 1. And this coefficient is B. Okay. So this is our b. And the constant number with no variable, this is our c. So we have a, b, c. Now we substitute this number in our quadratic formula. Okay. Now let's write down our quadratic formula. So how do we rewrite quadratic formula? Do we still use x, or what do we use here? We use the variable our t. Okay, t is the variable. So t equals to negative b plus minus b square minus 4ac. We have square root here divided by 2 times a. Now let's substitute. So we have negative. So what is our b? 0.0766 plus or minus square root of b square. Our b is 0.0766 square minus 4 times a. What is our a? A is 0.0072. A is 0.0072 times c. C is negative 0.682. Negative 0.682 divided by 2 times a. 2 times a, which is 0.0072. Okay, I need your help here now. So let me write b as it is 0.0766 plus or minus. Can anyone simplify everything under this square root using your calculator? So first type 0.0766 square minus 4 times 0.0072 times negative 0.682. Does anyone have final answer? Just simplify whatever we have under the square root, okay? So 0.0766 square minus 4 times 0.0072 times negative 0.682. We will get positive number. I want to know what is that positive number is. Does anyone need the worksheet handout by any chance? I still have 2. I printed 30. We are 30 and 2 of you do not have handout. Let me know if you still need worksheet, okay?
Was it the 1.2 exercise?
No, the unit 1 handout, okay, you do have that. Oh, it's error. Let me use your calculator. So here, okay, so 0.0766, okay, square, then minus 4 times 0.0072 times, okay, let me make it positive here, 0.682. Okay, we have 0.02551, okay, divided by 2. And if you need help with this, just let me know, okay? And this is, let's find the square root of that number, negative 0.0766 plus minus. Now let's find the square root of this number. So square root, okay, now where is that square root here? Okay. Square root of 0.02551. So that is 0.16 divided by 2. Okay. Now let's take positive at first. and find the value of, yes. Oh, thank you. So we have to okay, yes, it's not only 2. Thank you for correcting. So this is 2 times 0.0072, right? So 2 times 0.0072. So that is 0.014. Thank you for correction. So this is 0.0144. Now let's take positive and find value of t at first. So t is equals to negative 0.0766. We are taking positive 0.16 divided by 0.0144. And this is, so we have 0.16 minus 0.0766. 0.16 minus 0.0766 divided by 0.0144. So we have 5.79. Okay. Now what is our t? T is number of years, right? And what kind of number this t takes? It takes whole number. Now let's round this to the nearest whole number. So this is 6. Now next we take negative, okay, and find the value of t. So t is negative 0.0766 minus 0.16 divided by 0.0144, and this is, okay, 0.0766 plus 0.16, then we divide by 0.0144. We end up getting negative 16.4. Now here, okay, any question up to here? Everything is calculator, okay? So once you have correct A, B, C, you use your calculator and you must have these two values. Now, we defined our t as a number of years. We do have two values of t. Now, which value of t do we take here? Do we take the positive one or negative? Okay, now t is number of years, and number of years can't be negative, right? We can't have like a negative 5 years. So negative 16.4, this is not the solution, okay? So this is not the solution. Our solution is t equals to 6. So t is equals to 6. Now, can you find what year is this? So we defined our t as a number of years since 2000. So if t is 6, what will be that year? The year will be 2006, right? So we define t as a number of years from 2000. So t equals to 6 means 2000 plus 6. So 2006 is the year where the mobility rate will be 12%. Okay, now with this equation, can you make a prediction for the mobility rate for this year? So right now it's 2025, right? Now using this equation, can you find the mobility rate for 2025? How we find that mobility rate for 2025? Now what we are asked to find? If you are asked to find a mobility rate for 2025, which variable we are trying to find at first? We are trying to find y or t. We are trying to find mobility rate means we are trying to find y, right? We want to find y. Now what will be t? We define t as a number of years since 2000. This is 2025. So what will be t for 2025? 25, right? Now we substitute t equals to 25 in the equation, okay? So in 2025, so this is not asked in this question, but still, so our t is 25. Now we take that equation, okay? Our equation is 0.072 t square negative, so that's positive 0.0766 t minus 0.682. Now let's substitute t equals to 25. So 0.07 Is it 2 or okay? Yes, 0.072. T is 25 square plus 0.0766 times 25 minus 0.682. Okay, now let's calculate. So this is 0.072 times 25 is square plus 0.0766 times 25 minus 0.682. So the mobility rate is 46.23%. So this is the mobility rate for 2025. Do you think that the mobility has changed this much by 2025? So mobility rate, so this is the percentage of the, so here the percentage of people who change residence. So in 2006 the mobility rate was 12%, and in 2025 using this model we end up having 46.23%. Do you think that there has been such a big difference in mobility rate by this year? Okay, now so this is not, okay, this is the prediction. Okay, so this is not the real data. So this 46.23 is predicted by our quadratic equation. Okay, this is the prediction that we can make. But if you need a real data, we need to just Google it, find the real data. Okay, so I mean, so here using the quadratic equation we can make a prediction. Okay, now if you want to find, or if you want to predict the mobility rate for 2030, you can find, right? If using this equation we can find the mobility rate for 2030, right? So using the quadratic equation we can make a prediction. Okay, so prediction, maybe it can be 100% right or it may not be 100% right. It depends on the model, but we can use our quadratic equation to make a prediction, okay, or generalization. Okay, so now let's go to the next one. So the next here is very similar. Okay, the height of a ball after being dropped from a point 100 feet above the ground is given by h equals to negative 16t square plus 100. Okay, so a ball is dropped from a point 100 feet above the ground. Okay, so let's call this is our ground. Okay, so this is the ground, and we drop a ball from a height from 100 feet above the ground. So let's draw a height. This is, okay, so we have this tower of 100 feet. Okay, and from here we drop a ball. Okay, so we drop a ball from here, and the height of the ball, okay, the height achieved by the ball is given by this equation. Okay, so we have this equation. So when it falls, it have a different height, right? So at first the ball is at 100 feet above the ground, and when you drop a ball, what happens? Does the height keeps changing, right? The height of a ball keeps changing. Yes. Do you have a quote? Oh, okay. And that height is given by, we have given by the equation negative 16t squared plus 100. This equation gives us the height of a ball. Okay. Now here t is the time in seconds since the ball was dropped. Okay, so our t is time in seconds, so t is time in second, and our h is the height in a feet. We have this equation. Now what type of equation is this? We have h equals to negative 16t squared plus 100. What is the type of equation? Is it linear or quadratic equation? It is still quadratic equation, right? Now let's go ahead and find the A. When will the ball be 60 feet above the ground? Okay, so this is a question. When will the ball be 60 feet above the ground? Now what is asked here? So which variable we are trying to find?
T.
So when means it's time, right? We want to find t. And what is this 60 feet? h. So you substitute h equals to 60 and find t. So we take the equation for part A. So we have the equation h equals to negative 16 t square plus 100. Our h is 60 equals to negative 16 t square plus 100. We are trying to find t. Now, so let's okay. You can simplify, you can factorize here, you can use quadratic formula, or you can use completing square method. So let's subtract, we have a like terms here, 60 and 100. So let's subtract 100 on both sides. Okay. So 60 minus 100, that is negative 40 equals to negative 60 t square. Now let's divide, let's get rid of negative 16 by dividing on both sides. Okay, 2.5, okay. So 2.5 equals to t square. Now we need to get rid of e square. Now what happens? We get positive or negative. Okay, do not forget, every time if you want to get rid of a square, you will have positive, negative, square root, and whatever you have on the other side. 2.5 equals to t. Then only you can get rid of square. Now let's find square root of 2.5. 1.5. Okay, plus minus 1.5. 8. Okay, 1.58 equals to t. Now we have two values of t. T is positive 1.58 or t is negative 1.58. Which one is the solution for us? Time has to be positive, right? So this is our solution. So after 1.58 second of dropping a ball will be at a height of 60 feet. Okay, so this is how we can use this quadratic equation to find the height of a ball. Okay, any question? Okay, in part B, we are asked to find when will the ball reach the ground. Okay, when will ball reach the ground? So what we are asked to find? Are we asked to find t or h? When will ball reach the ground? When is a time, right? We want to find t. Now what is the height? So what does it mean by ball reaching the ground? The height of a ball from the ground is 0, right? If the ball is already on the ground, the height of a ball from the ground will be 0, right? So you replace your h by 0 and find t for part B. Okay? So we are using the same equation, same negative 16 t square plus 100. We are asked to find when. It means we want to know what is t. Okay, when the ball will reach on the ground. So ball in the ground means our height is 0. Negative 16 t square plus 100. Using similar method, you subtract 100 on both sides. We have negative 100 equals to negative 16 t square. Divide both sides by negative 16. Okay, 100 divided by 6. Okay, thank you. 6.25 equals to t square. Now we need to get rid of square. For that we get positive, negative, square root of 6.25 equals to t. And what is the square root of 2.5? And we take positive, right? T can't be negative. So after 2.5 seconds of dropping ball, the ball reaches to ground. So quadratic equation, it helps us to find when the ball reaches on the ground. Okay. So once you know what to find and what is given, solving the word problem should not be difficult. I know a lot of you are scared of word problems, but equation will be given. You should know what you are asked to find and you should know what is given to you. Once you have that, you substitute and you solve the equation. Okay, any question for part A and B? All right, and let me tell you, very similar to these two examples, one example will be on your first exam. Okay, do not expect exactly same, but very similar will be on your first exam. Now in part C, for what values of t does this problem make sense? Okay, now so we have a ball. Okay, now here, so when ball is at the top, our time is 0 second, right? When our ball is on the ground, what is the time we calculated in part B? 2.5 second. Now, can we have a value of t less than 0? Or can we have value of t greater than 2.5? What does it mean by having t negative? That's not possible, right? We can't have time negative. Now, what does it mean by time? So, for example, you drop a ball after 2.5 second, ball is on the ground. What happens on the next second? Like let's say like 3 second. What happens? Ball is still on the ground, right? So, is it possible for us to have the value of t greater than 2.5? So the value of t, it ranges between 0 and 2.5. Okay, like after 5 seconds, ball will be still on the ground, right? The ball does not change its height. So this, the value of t that makes sense for this problem is if our t is greater than 0 and less than equals to 2.5. Okay, just let me write down greater than equals to 0, then the time makes sense. Okay, so when t is 0 means ball is on the top. When t is 2.5, the ball is on the ground. Okay, and the time between these two numbers is the ball is on the air. Okay, so this is how we can use the quadratic formula to find the value of height or time here. Okay, any question?